Hi there, Greg. Leonard here. Just wanted to make this quick video. My apologies for getting back to you late. Just getting over the flu, but I thought I would go ahead and do the audit for you so you can have some data points when you're trying to decide if you would like to move forward. So I've looked at several areas for the page in question, the oil and gas production software page. So I looked at on page, I looked at your content, some of the technical SEO, some of the competitors, namely those sites that are ranking ahead of you, and then just some other things kind of outside the realm of SEO that I think would be helpful. So I'll start with the first thing, and I was a little confused about. So the URL that you provided is not the URL that's ranking. So if I look at so this one is the slug is oil production software, and then the URL that you provide is oil and gas production software. And when I compare these pages, as far as the content goes, it looks like they serve the same purpose, right? And I'm thinking if you want to have this page rank, I think there might be a little bit of keyword cannibalization going on where you're targeting very similar keywords on two pages. But since this is the one that's ranking, I recommend that you do a 301 redirect to this page, because you're right, the content is a little more thorough. You have some more rich media going on here at the bottom with the videos, and I think that would definitely benefit you. And if there's anything from this page that's unique, any content that's unique, I would go ahead and add it to this page. That way you can combine them and you can have a much better version of a page targeting oil and gas production software. So that would be my first tip. My second tip, going to the new page now, just looking at the on page. So very good job. You did a good job with the content length, very thorough. I would say one thing that kind of stood out is that you're not using any subheadings, so namely H2 or H3 tags. And I recommend that you add more because, like you said, this content piece is over 2,000 words, and you only have one heading 2 tag on the entire page. And so I recommend, having a lot more, maybe, every 250 to 300 words, have a subheading where you're using an H2 or H3 tag. So not only does this make the content more readable, more user-friendly, but it'll also give you more opportunities to target variations of oil and gas production software. So alternative keywords that can help improve your rank. And then, as far as the readability part, I'm not sure about your user engagement metrics, how long on average people are staying on this page. But if that metric is low, if that time is low, then adding subheadings will definitely help with the usability. So highly recommend that you add more heading tags and heading 2 and heading 3 tags. And then just kind of one more point, like the SEO benefit of this. If there's a phrase that's included in that H2 or H3 tag, it's going to have more weight when the search engine crawlers review your website. So just keep that in mind. Other than the H2 and H3 tags, let's see here. I think the images on your page can be better optimized. So when I look at your source code, let's go ahead and open it again. I look at your source code and I look for the alt tags. So pretty much it's going to be alt equals something. So there are a few that are empty. So you want to make sure, it looks like these are irrelevant, but for any that do have alt tags, you want to make sure that you're targeting oil and gas production software, and variations of it. So I would just, try to find maybe 20 to 30 variations of oil and gas production software. They're called LSI keywords, and replace them in your alt tags. And I saw a few that you are using that similar phrases, but make sure that's consistent throughout. Other than that, I will also look at the file names of the images. So search engine crawlers, they can't look at an image and tell what it's about like humans can. But one thing they do look at, or two things they look at, is one, the alt tag, which I just went over, and the actual image file name. And so you want to make sure that you are naming these image files something that's keyword targeted. And you don't want to overdo it here. Maybe only use oil and gas production software once. And then again, for the other images, that's where you plug in those LSI keywords, just so that you can get a good breadth of targeting for related keywords. So, yeah, that'd be one point for the images. Now, lastly, I would say for your on page, and this kind of really goes into video. But great job here with the videos. That's a really good strategy. You want to make sure that when I took a look, it looked like the first video is something that's not your own content. It looks like it's coming from another company. But this looks like it's your video. So, one thing, I would change up the YouTube or the video title a bit. So I'll put oil and gas production software at the front, and then maybe colon, and then introducing the Greasebook app, something like that. But you want to make sure you include oil and gas production software at the front of the title. Now, on top of that, looks like the description can be much better optimized. So just how you do on-page optimization for a page, you can also do this optimization for a video. So firstly, I would add links to your page, this oil and gas production software page. I would add a link to your channel, and then I would add links to other videos on your channel. And on top of that, I will also add links to any social media profiles that you do have. This is just a way that you can get some more links going to those different properties. And then from there, I would add more of a description. So again, targeting oil and gas production software, and just make it like maybe 200 to 250 words, that description. And that would just give more context to what your video is about. Because right now, production software for the better management of oil and gas leases, yeah, it definitely is not as targeted as it could be for oil and gas production software. And then once you do that, again, embed it like you have in your page, and that will definitely position you. That will add more relevance to the page, and it will position this video to show up in the search results as well. And like you said, this keyword phrase isn't very competitive, so I'm sure this is a video that you will be able to rank if you just spend some time optimizing the video more. And then, kind of going back to the file name, you can also include the keyword in your video file name. So whatever that .mp4 file is, and then, name it, something like oil and gas production software .mp4, and then actually re-upload it to YouTube. So I forgot that part, but you can re-upload it to YouTube. And again, that's just adding more relevancy for this page for that particular keyword. Now, so that pretty much covers on page. Now, getting into your content. So I looked at your blog here, and I saw that you do have some blogs. Some of these articles, they do link to that oil and gas production software page. There was one I was looking at here. I lost it. Let's see. Is this it? No, that goes to your home page. Yeah, lost where that was. But any links that you have that are going to internal pages on your website, you want to make those anchor texts as keyword optimized as possible. This is a little different than if you're getting a backlink from a external third-party website. With your own internal pages, you can optimize as you can target your keywords as much as you want, really. So I would target for any blogs that are linking to that page. I would put in your anchor oil and gas production software. That's the keyword, the primary keyword for that page. So you want to make sure that you're optimizing for it. Still can't find it. Maybe this is it. Yep, this is it. So this machine, really, that's very generic. So you definitely need to find a way to optimize that more for keywords. Now, on top of that, I would add some more blog posts. So I didn't go through all of your blog articles, but I would say, maybe at least 4 to 5, maybe 3 to 4, I should say, 3 to 4 blog posts that are all related to oil and gas production software. And then they all link back to that page, that main page. So you can think of this page here as your pillar page. So it's very long form. And then the pages under it should be all related to oil and gas production software, but maybe you just drill down on one specific subtopic. So, for example, oil production reporting. So, I don't know, 7 ways that Greasebook could help with your oil production reporting task. And then, that could link back to this main page. Another way you can get some ideas for subtopics, just look at maybe some relevant Reddit threads, or, like Quora. There's always, someone asking questions on a variety of different subjects. So let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, so these might be a little general, but yeah, maybe what kind of management software does the fracking industry use? So yeah, maybe something related to that. ERP software, if that's something that Greasebook is able to handle, maybe something on that topic, ERP. Let's see, what else here? Yeah, that might be it for Quora, but 2 other websites that I use, MetaFilter. Let's see if we find something there. But I won't go too much into that, but look on sites like Reddit, Quora, MetaFilter. I will also look at a website called Answer the Public, and basically you can find the questions that people are answering related to your product, and you can write content that answers those questions. And then from those content articles, you link back to your pillar page. So not only does that add more topical relevance for your pillar page, but you also position your site to rank for other phrases that people are asking about on these different websites. So that's what I would recommend for your content strategy. Now, moving on to your technical SEO. So I took a look at your structured data. So very good job. You are using a product schema, and that's great. What I would say, I would just add one other type of schema, your organization schema. And that way you can, relate Greasebook to oil and gas software. And so just add that to your page there. And with this schema, I will also add it as a file property for your image files. So I can't show it here, but if you look at a file property or image file property, I use a PC. If you go into the properties, there's a field called comments. And you can actually add your schema into that comments field. And that's just another way you can add more relevance to your product type and to your organization, to your images. So of course that will require you to download all of your images and then re-upload them. But I've definitely seen where it works. It can, you're already in the top 5. It can be that extra little bit that your competitors aren't doing that can kind of help propel you to the top position. So now that we talked about your website, now let's look at some of your competitors. So like you said, I see that you're number 5. So I looked at those 4 websites that are ranking ahead of you. And what I see here, Capterra is number 1. And I see that, I'm not sure if this is a sponsored listing, but wherever the case, you're number 1 here. So I don't even look at this as a competitor, because if someone lands on this page, they're more than likely going to click on your website link. What I would change, and I'm not sure if this is possible with Capterra, instead of taking people to your homepage, I would take them directly to your oil and gas production software page, because you don't want them to get lost, trying to find that page. So take them directly to where you want them to go, and then hopefully your page is optimized in a way where it leads to a good percentage of conversions of people who visit it. And I saw G2 Crowd. It's similar to Capterra. I saw that you don't have a listing here, at least not on the first page. So, whatever you can do, I would try to get on this first page and, preferably at the very top. So I know all of these review websites, they kind of have their own algorithms, but, we can try to figure out what that algorithm is for G2 Crowd. If it means that you get some reviews from some of your happy customers, and so be it. And just try to get you your listing higher here. And these 2 websites, Capterra and G2 Crowd, they're very high authority. I did an analysis in Ahrefs. So your domain rating, which is just another metric similar to a domain authority, your domain rating is at, actually forgot to include you here. Let's go ahead and add this real quick. So we can take a look. When I was looking at this before, it's a lot lower than G2 Crowd and Capterra. So here we go. So your domain rating is 33. The domain rating for Capterra and G2 Crowd is 86 and 83 respectively. So very high. So instead of trying to beat them, which would be very difficult because they're a lot more established websites, I would leverage Barnacle SEO. So just making sure that your listing ranks well on those websites to encourage that referral traffic back to your website. So that's how I would handle those 2 websites that are ranking ahead of you. Now for these other 2 sites, you're right. I mean, P2 Energy Solutions, they have a really good domain rating of 51. Neofirma, they have a domain rating of 29. So you actually have a higher domain rating than they do. So I imagine, where are they at? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. I imagine that you 2 switch spots regularly, because they are at, so this time they're at number 2. So that's interesting. When I was looking at before, they were at number 4. But anyway, so I would say, the next step here, you see that the domain rating is higher and lower, so that's not a major issue. But I would look at kind of how they're getting their backlinks. So first, any websites that they're getting links from that you're not, we would go after those websites. And then the second part, look at the makeup of their backlink profile. So I see here they have a high percentage of no follow links. Really, this is, I believe, this 4th one is P2 Energy Solutions. So they don't really have any backlinks at all. What I'm guessing is that they're banking on their authority. But looking at Neofirma, they have a large percentage of no follow links. So there's a way that you can improve those really easily, and I'll get into that at the end of the video. But just notice how they have very few do follow links. You have 24. So I know it's kind of best practice to have do follow links, but you want to mix. And more so, you want to kind of mirror what those folks ahead of you are doing. So if they have a low percentage of do follow links, then that might be a good cue that you should try to lower the percentage of do follow links in your overall backlink profile for this page. Something else I'm looking at, they don't have any edge.edu referrals. referring domains, you have 4. So it might not be as important as you think to get those .edus. And my key point here is that you can't look at the backlinks in a vacuum. You have to look at what they're doing, what your competitors are doing, because it's different for every keyword and every SERP. So just keep that in mind, that when you're doing any link building, you should really look at what your competitors are doing versus just operating in a vacuum. Now, what we can't see here, and this would be the kind of the last point for your backlink strategy, look at how your competitors are using anchor text. If they're doing a lot of branded anchors, so name of their companies, or naked URL anchors, so just direct URLs to their website, then that's a good cue that you should be doing the same. So in most things, you don't want to follow the pack, but for SEO, and when you're this high up in a ranking, but trying to make that last push, then you do want to follow what other companies and websites are doing. So that's pretty much my advice on your backlinks. So one thing that we can't see, and it's an important part of this, is your user engagement. So I would say, always try to find ways to improve your average time on that page, the bounce rate, and I would say the average pages per session. These are all signals to the search engine crawlers that your website is user-friendly, people like your page, and so that's how they're going to reward you with better rankings. So always keep that in mind too. Always look for ways to improve the user experience. And one of the ways I mentioned earlier in the video is to add more subheadings to your page. Now, for my last area that I want to cover, and I kind of call this other, you want to make sure that you are engaging on social media. So you're doing a good job in YouTube, but you see here there aren't many social metrics for your competitors. So I would say, try to, especially if you're going to produce more content, try to share that content on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and really any other platform where your target customers are. Make sure that you're doing that regularly and consistently. Another thing, and this is going to help you with your no-follow links, create more branded profiles for Greasebook. So these are profiles like on maybe CrowdSearch or websites like that, where they're not going to link back to you with a do follow link, but it does add to your brand visibility and your brand reputation. So make sure that you're doing that. And lastly, I would try to find ways to embed that video, the one we were looking at before, onto different Web 2.0's websites like WordPress, or some others, Tumblr. Just finding ways to embed that video, because video is a little different than websites. Instead of backlinks, your backlinks, quote unquote, would be video embeds. So just finding ways to embed this video would go a long way and help you rank better for that target phrase. Now, hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I look forward to your response. Thanks, Greg, and talk to you soon.